Gold and love in the Bronze Age. Gold had extraordinary importance in the Bronze Age, often considered a material imbued with magical significance. The Intracarpatic area was one of the most significant metalworking centers in Europe, known for its high-quality gold. In this distant era, somewhere near the Apuseni Mountains, lived a fairly wealthy family with 3 children, a teenage girl and 2 younger boys. The girl's name was Mesea, and she was known in the tribe mostly for her beauty, but later also due to a huge scandal related to her marriage, which I will soon tell you about. Her father was a skilled but somewhat miserly farmer. He imposed his authority over the family quite harshly, and no one could stand him, but they had no choice but to obey. Near them lived a family of goldsmiths who made very beautiful jewelry. The farmer especially liked their boat-shaped hair rings. He dreamed day and night about those hair rings, wishing to adorn Mesea and his wife with them, but perhaps more than for them. He desired the rings for himself. He loved their shine and smooth shape, and he also wanted to gain more respect in the tribe through them. He noticed that the wealthier men wore 10-15 hair rings, maybe even more, while he didn't have even one, despite being considered quite wealthy in the community. Constantly thinking about those hair rings, one day he had an idea. What if he married Mesea to the goldsmith's son? That way, he would get the golden jewelry without having to give anything in return, and what he would give at the wedding would remain within his family. So, he wouldn't lose anything. The goldsmith's son was older than Mesea, but it was customary for the girl to be younger than the groom, so their age difference wasn't an issue. He liked the idea, and he immediately spoke with the boy's father, with whom he quickly came to an agreement. He promised to give land and animals with Mesea, while the groom's father promised many pieces of jewelry and other gold objects. Satisfied with their arrangement, they soon informed their families about the marriage and began preparing for the wedding day. But wait until you hear what happened on the wedding day! No one expected this. As the procession with the groom approached, Mesea was nowhere to be found. She had disappeared without a trace. They searched everywhere, but she was nowhere to be found. Finally, a neighbor, who didn't know where she was either, said he had seen her leaving with someone.
Did you say you saw Mesea with Havas?
Yes, that's right. I saw Mesea and Havas walking together on the road to the river.
When did this happen? And where were they going?
This morning, not long ago. They seemed to be in a hurry. I didn't think I needed to tell you.
And it didn't seem important to inform me? To warn me about this?
I'm sorry, but it didn't occur to me that something might be wrong. Although, now that I think about it, it was clear they didn't want to be seen. I could have suspected something was off with them.
Oh my, what should I do now? Mesea knows very well what we expect of her in this family, and yet she does this to me.
Maybe,
No excuses! We need to find her! We need to bring her back and punish her! What a disgrace! How can I tell the groom now that Mesea ran away with someone else? What a disgrace! What will the goldsmith's family say?
Yes, I understand, but...
Say no more! We must catch them now! Let's go!
Havas, the one with whom Mesea ran away, was a good boy, hard-working and honest, loved Mesea dearly, was the son of a fisherman, and everyone knew him. Even though he knew he risked a lot by kidnapping Mesea, he thought any fate would be worse for them than if they gave up on each other. Mesea agreed with this, so she was kidnapped, or rather they ran away together, because it would have hurt them more than any punishment in the world if they had given up on each other. So they decided to try to escape. If they succeeded, a long and happy life together awaited them. If not, at least they tried. That's what they did. They ran as fast as they could, but didn't get far, because her father's friends found them in the forest. They were tied up and brought back. Can you imagine the scandal and the harsh punishment they would have faced if a miracle had not happened? But it did. Yes, we can call it a miracle of what happened next. I'll tell you. When Mesea's father's people brought the runaways home, all the family members of the girl and the groom's family were already gathered, with their entire clan there. But just as the embarrassing situation was about to start, and the punishment of the runaways in front of everyone, mixed with cruel beatings, the two of them with their hands tied in the middle were heard screaming outside. There was a large crowd of furious people approaching their house. They were violent, shouted with all their might, tore up the yard, but it was hard to understand what made them so angry. Initially, Mesea's father thought they had found out about his daughter's betrayal and had come to confront them, but he couldn't understand why unknown people from other tribes were arriving. What business did they have with what happened in their family, in their tribe? What his daughter did was serious, but was it really necessary for a crowd of strangers to come and beat her? He couldn't grasp the situation at all, and he had no way to understand it because those people hadn't come to beat his daughter and her abductor. They had come for the goldsmith's family. They knew nothing about the planned wedding, and they weren't interested in that. Their issue was different. The groom and his family did indeed practice their trade as goldsmiths. Everyone knew that. But besides that, whenever they could, they occasionally stole gold objects from different people, from different tribes. And that was exactly the moment when all those who had been harmed over time finally managed to gather. Now they had come to take back the stolen objects from the goldsmiths and to punish them as they deserved. There was a huge uproar. The scandal reached its peak. People argued, fought, and amidst the chaos, Mesea and Havas seized the opportunity to slip away among the crowd. This time they managed to escape far, and no one could find them. The world quickly forgot about the two young lovers, and they found refuge in another tribe where they were warmly welcomed. There, among new people and new customs, they managed to build a life where love and mutual respect were unwavering values for everyone. Can you guess what profession Havas eventually learned there? He became a goldsmith. Yes, a goldsmith. No one knew their story there, so no one was surprised when he became an apprentice to a goldsmith in that tribe. At first, he was given simple tasks like collecting gold ore from rivers and streams, washing it to separate the gold from other materials, and preparing tools and materials for processing. Later on, he learned the art of shaping, molding, and decorating gold. And everything he learned from the master, he showed to his wife. Together, they both became skilled in this craft. Havas, together with Mesea, spent their days digging in the riverbeds and streams in search of gold-bearing sand and gravel. After collecting the materials, he meticulously washed them in clay vessels and animal skins, then melted them multiple times in a furnace to remove impurities. Once melted, the gold became malleable and easy to work with. While hammering the gold, Havas added decorative details, creating different patterns and textures on the precious metal's surface. After achieving the desired shape, Mesea took over, refining the object through polishing and smoothing to achieve a polished and glossy finish. With great aesthetic sense, they managed to create some unique and exceptionally beautiful ornaments. And so, slowly but surely, working together in harmony, they became wealthy, yet their mindset never changed. They continued to value mutual love and respect more than material wealth, much like the goldsmiths in their native tribe. Over the years, Havas and Mesea reminisced about their wedding escape with amused nostalgia, now viewing the moment as a comedic adventure, although it was a bold and risky decision at the time. You might wonder how the thieving goldsmiths were caught, and how people knew they were the thieves of their gold items. There would be much to tell, but initially, suspicions were aroused because of the items they exchanged, which varied greatly in quality. Some were finely crafted, with skill and taste, while others were crude and clearly made by inexperienced craftsmen. They could lie about the materials, but no one believed they could be skilled one day and incompetent the next in their workmanship. The differences were too noticeable and too blatant to be ignored. Gradually, people caught on and began to track them until one day they were seen stealing. And that's when the scandal unfolded, as I've told you. Eventually, the thieving goldsmiths were caught and brought before the tribe's judgment. They could no longer deceive the people, and thanks to the community's vigilance and persistence in tracking them, the truth came to light. Thus, the thieves were exposed, and the community recovered some of its lost precious items. The events and characters in this story are fictional. Historical truths are as follows. Gold was of extraordinary significance to Bronze Age people, often being imbued with magical meaning. The Intracarpathian region was one of the most important metallurgical centers in Europe, with most of the gold objects discovered in this area belonging to the Wittenberg and Ottoman cultures. From the Middle Bronze Age onwards, a vast amount of washed gold entered circulation compared to earlier periods. This gold was of high quality, primarily originating from Transylvania, and was used throughout Europe. Through trade networks, it even reached the kingdoms of the Mycenaean world, and, from there, Egypt and the centers of the Near East. Most of the Bronze Age gold artifacts found in the Carpathian Basin are jewelry, mainly consisting of distinctive boat-shaped hair rings, spiral-shaped dress ornaments, and gold discs that decorated the temples.